Okay, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to take your ruler and we're going to make the horizon line. You never want to put the horizon line right in the middle because that's kind of boring. You either want to do it up a little bit higher or down a little bit lower. I am going to choose to do mine a little bit lower. Just eyeball it to make it as straight as possible. And then take your pencil and draw just a very light line across. Okay, set your ruler aside, and now you're going to take your semicircle. You're going to lay it on top of that line. You can either put it in the middle or you can put it off to the side a little bit. I'm going to go ahead and do mine in the middle, and you're just going to trace the top of your there we go, take it off, and now we're ready to start painting. So you're going to want to have a large brush. You want to wet it first, and then always dry it off on your paper towel before you actually dip it into the paint. I am going to take a little bit of yellow and mix it with a little bit of white, so we don't want it to be super strong. And we're simply going to take the paint and paint in the semicircle. Now that we've got that done, we want to take the same exact yellow. So I'm not going to clean off my brush. I'm just going to get a little bit more of the yellow, and I'm going to come in here and I'm going to basically make like a triangle here. Just kind of take your brush, go back and forth, make sure to get the canvas, really get the paint on the canvas so it goes all the way down. You can paint in that whole triangle if you want to. We're going to end up putting some other colors into it, so it's okay if it goes outside of the triangle, because we're going to mix some paints in with it as well. All right, now that we've got the sun painted, might even extend that out just a little bit. We've got the sun painted. Now what we want to do is we want to paint the rest of the sky. And it's going to go from a yellow to an orange. So I'm going to take my yellow, put a little bit of orange in, and I'm going to start to paint around my sun. Just like this. It can go all the way across the bottom there because it kind of radiates out. If it kind of blurs a little bit, that's okay, because the sun has rays and it's actually not a solid line around the outside, so it's okay for it to have a little bit of a blurred edge on this. And I'm going to start to make the sky just a little bit darker as I go up towards the top. And so I'm making it a lot more regular orange. And if I blend these two together while they're still wet, then the colors will blend nicely together. If I do it when they're dry, then I'll end up with hard edges and they won't blend. Very important. I want those colors to blend together. You can even add a little bit of water onto your brush to help them stay a little bit more wet. Notice that I'm using big brush strokes now. Very big brush strokes going all the way across the canvas. Now I'm going to start to introduce some of my pinks into it. towards the top here. Now we're going to use these same colors in a little bit back down here in the ocean, but not quite yet. Go ahead and bring that all the way to the edge. All right, so now what we want to do is we want to start to work into the bottom again. So I'm going to clean my brush. And then remember that I always need to make sure to dry it off. Get any other residual color off of your brush, because that could affect how it paints. It could affect the color. So I'm going to go back to the colors that I used right around the outside of this. And I'm going to take my brush, I'm just using it on its side, get in some yellow, some pure yellow, and a little bit of that orange. And I'm going to start to kind of just put in lines with my brush. Okay, so again, I'm kind of doing the triangle thing, following the triangle. Oops, that got a little dark. So I'm following my triangle down to the bottom here. Putting in that nice yellow color, and then I'm gonna do the same thing. Now you don't want it to be real, you don't want it to be a really sharp triangle. You want it to have these kind of rough edges like this. And if you feel like you got a little too much, then just get a little bit more of your yellow on your brush. You can take the yellow and you can kind of come back over it. Like that, and then I'm going to go in with my darker on the outside of this, like that. Remember, we're trying to not have any of the white of the canvas showing, so that means that you've got to put in enough paint that it covers over that. Remember, make it kind of a jagged edge, not a super sharp edge. We want it to be nice and jagged, like that. And now I'm going to come in with my pinks. Now notice I'm not going all the way to the edge on this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come in with a little bit of ocean color, so a little bit of turquoise. Do the pink on the other side first. And now I'm going to clean my brush, because I'm going to use this turquoise color. And I'm going to come in and I'm going to blend it right in with my pink. Now some of it is going to turn a little bit purple because there's blue and pink, because red and blue make purple. So we're going to see some purple start to emerge. Okay, so remember, I'm using my brush on its side like that to create line. Lay that on nice and thick, making sure none of the canvas is showing. So again, I'm trying to keep that basic triangle type shape, because the sun is just, the light rays aren't hitting the bottom of the canvas, the bottom down here, as much as they are the top, and so they start to taper away, they start to go away.